Namaskaram, Snehitulu. It's a real honor, it's a real pleasure being here. I love the TEDx platform, the community, lots of wonderful speakers, lots of wonderful people. And now I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I feel blessed, I feel privileged. All over from the IITs, IIMs, our programs, students from Stanford, Harvard, all over have attended, multi-billion-dollar companies, MDs, CEOs. We have done programs with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Happionair programs, and I feel blessed. And there's one question, there's a common question that keeps getting asked across lines, and I think all of you also might have this question. And the question is, people tell me different walks. People tell me, Yogesh, I have money, I have a job, I have a good life, I have food, but still, I feel anxious, I feel stressed, I don't have focus, and I've tried everything, but still, I don't feel happy. So what's the secret to happiness? How can we be happy? And I think all of you will have this question. Have you ever had such a question? Yes, raise your hand. Yes. Yeah. I think everybody will have this question. If not now, maybe later. You are in a good university. I'm sure you will end up having a good job, a good business. You will have food. And I believe this question of happiness is going to be the biggest challenge facing humanity. Because humanity, materially, we have never been as prosperous as we are today. Look at it. Look at your life. Look at your parents' life. Look at your grandparents' life. You have access to a lot more material things, isn't it so? Yes. If it's yes, you can say yes. Yes, it is. How many of you would like to have the answer to this question? What's the secret to happiness? You'd like to? You can say yes if it is. If it's no, you can say no. Okay. But before I tell you the answer, nothing comes easy. I'm not going to give it to you for free. All of you came here, you have to buy a ticket, you have to do something to come here. You have to make a commitment and a promise. Are you ready to make a promise? Yes? Good. And the promise I want you to make is very simple. If what I share with you today makes sense to you, even 1% sense, you will promise yourself and me that you will go out there with an open mind and try it out. Is that a promise you could make? Yes? Yes. A lot more energy. We are in Tirupati. It's a spiritual place. A lot more energy. Say yes, I promise. I like that. Okay. Now that you're promised, and the reason is your life changes only when you take action. Wonderful speakers, great stories, great journeys, but your life will change only when you take action. Okay, so you have promised, and I'll hold you to this promise. Before I share the secret, I want to share a story with you. Before I give out the secret, I want to share a story with you. I was born in Mumbai. That time it was called Bombay, and at the age of 6, I moved to a place called Tehran, Iran. You've heard of Tehran? Iran? Yes? Yes? Okay, you might have heard of it. I moved there, my father was working there, and something happened there that changed everything for me. I was around 6 years old, and my sister was born. I was 6 years old. Today is my father's birthday also, 13th November. Anyway, okay, yeah, you could clap. He told me to get some prasad from Tirupati, so I'm going to do that. And love your fathers, love your mothers, love your elders. So anyway, I was coming out of the bus, the school bus. It was raining, the way it is raining in Tirupati. It was raining there, but it was heavier, very heavy rain. And I was coming out of the bus, and as I was coming out of the bus, there was open drain. Open gutter, and I was a small 6-year-old boy. It was flooded. I didn't see. I walked in and I fell in that drain. And water all around me, water is going in my nose, water is going in my mouth. And in such moments, time freezes. If you have ever had such an experience, time freezes and I can feel water. And in that moment, I just prayed to the divine. I just prayed to the divine and I prayed, I don't want to go. I want to live. And as soon as I prayed in the divine, suddenly I felt a hand coming down, pulling me out, carrying me in his arms. There was this man, I was coughing out the water. And this man asked me, where do you live? And I pointed at the building and I say, on the 6th floor. I live on the 6th floor. And he carries me in his arms. He takes me, gives me to my mother, and he saves my life. This man saves my life, doesn't he? He saves my life. And he didn't want money. He didn't want fame. He didn't want success. He didn't want power. He didn't want anything. All he did was save a small boy's life. And let me ask you something. How many of you here would have done the same thing if you are walking, no matter what your situation is? How many of you here would have done the same thing? Raise your hands. How many of you would have saved somebody's life if you saw them? Everybody, almost everybody. Almost everybody would have done exactly the same thing. And what does this tell you about humanity? It tells you that deep down, this was my understanding, deep down, human beings are good. Deep down, all of you have goodness in you. On the outside, yes, there might be a lot of junk. Deep down, all of you are gold. Each one of you is gold. In Tirupati, there's a lot of gold, isn't there? Yeah. All of you deep down are gold. All of you here are gold. Yes, on the outside. Do you know about gold mines? On the outside, there's a lot of junk. On all of you, on humanity, there might be a lot of junk. Anger, fear, hatred, envy, lust, so many things. But deep down, you're gold. And all of you have the possibility to tap it. Each one of you has the possibility to tap it. And you know how you can tap it? I'll tell you, it's very simple. Would you like to know? Yes. I'll tell you. And this is my realization. I've been doing this for so many years, and this is a realization I got. And it's a formula. You could write it down, you could edge it in your thing, and if you understand this, you will experience joy, you will experience happiness. And the formula is very simple. Simply do good. What is good? What is good? I'll tell you what is good. Good stands for give out of devotion. Give out of devotion is good. Simply give. Because the more you give, the more your life changes. That man who saved my life enabled me to come here. Now, that man might not even realize. I don't even know that man's name. But what he did impacted so many people. And he was not doing it on his own. I believe there's a higher force that was operating through him. A higher force operates through all of us. And we have the power to tap into it if we do good. Give out of devotion. And what is give out of devotion? What does it mean? And people ask me, Yogesh, but how can I give out of devotion? I'm only a student or I'm just starting out. Every small thing you do, every skill you have, you can give. You can contribute. It could be the smallest thing. If you know English, for example, I'm assuming, you can teach somebody English, anything. You know engineering, you could help somebody. You can bring this in every area of your life. People come to me in our seminars, in our programs, we do so many, and they tell me, Yogesh, you know, I used to be addicted to drugs, I was addicted to alcohol, I was addicted to porn, I was addicted to video games. But something changed in my life. Today I have found direction, today I have found a right way. And it all starts by giving. And they thank me. I say, no, don't thank me. I'm not doing it. There's a higher force that operates to all of us. And each one of you has the potential to tap into it, isn't it? All of you have the potential. And once you start having this attitude, everything will change. I'll share with you. What do I mean by giving out of devotion? There are three types of giving. If you read our scriptures, if you read what our ancient masters shared, there are three types of giving. The first type of giving is called, this is the lowest form, it is called tamasic giving. What is tamasic? Anybody has heard of the word tamas? Tamasic giving, you've heard. Tamasic giving, I'll give you an example. What does it mean by tamasic giving? Imagine you are sitting in a taxi or you're going in a car. Your car stops on the signal and somebody comes and knocks at you. A beggar comes and knocks at your signal and he wants money, and you, out of lack of awareness or out of irritation or out of laziness, you open your wallet, you remove and give money to that beggar. Anybody's done that? Yeah, you might have. Yeah, you raise your hands if you've done it. Some of you have done it, okay? Now imagine you are giving, in your head you think you are giving, right? When you give that money to that beggar is having a lot of mental challenges, a lot of stress, and to let go of his stress, he is also not aware, he goes and takes drugs. He uses the money to buy drugs. Now he takes those drugs. When you take drugs, what happens to your mind? Are you aware or not aware? You're not aware, right? Now this person is not aware. Because he's not aware, he goes and beats his wife. He kills his wife. Who was responsible? Who was responsible for killing his wife? He was, but indirectly was responsible. You were, because you gave money to that beggar. That is tamasic giving. It is the lowest form. It is not something you should do, because when you do it, you're not creating good. That's the first form of giving, tamasic giving. That will not bring you joy. The second form of giving is rajasic giving. What is rajasic giving? Ever heard the word rajas? Some of you have heard. Again, rajasic giving. What is this? It is when you go and you give, you have money, you give, and you tell a university, you give money to this university, for example, and you say, build a building and put my name on it. Ever heard of that sort of giving? Yeah. Or build something, put my name. Better than the first type. But again, why are you giving? Are you giving out of devotion, or are you giving it because it's a business transaction? You're giving it because it's a business transaction, isn't it? Yes? Now, that is better than the first, but again, that act of giving will not give you pure joy. Yes, looking at your name might give you temporary joy. Looking at your name on that building might give you temporary joy. But the third type of giving is called sattvic giving. Sattva. Ever heard of sattva? Sattvic giving. What is sattvic giving? When you give only out of love and devotion. When you give not because you want something in return, just for the sake of joy. Our volunteers, the Happionair way, we have a lot of volunteers. They give simply because they love giving. Here, this event has been organized by volunteers, isn't it so? Yes? Why do you volunteer? You give because you love giving, isn't it the case? Give them a big hand. Give the volunteers a big hand. They've done a wonderful job. And yes, when you start giving, the byproducts might be knowledge, the byproducts might be fame, might be success, might be money, but that is not your goal. And when you look at your life this way, everything changes. Are you getting it? Yes? If it's a yes, say it loudly. Yes. Very good. So bring in this sense of giving. The next time somebody asks you, how are you doing? And you say, I'm doing good. What does good mean? Give out of devotion. And you can bring this in every area of your life. My life changed because I started giving. And the more you give, the more you get. You need to give before you get anything. Now, some of you might be saying, okay, Yogesh, but I want to get a job. I'm in the final year of college. How many of you are in final year of college and want to get a job? Or I want to start a company. You can use the same mindset. You can use the same even to get any area of your life, in your relationships, in your business, in anything. How do you bring this in your other area? Would you like to know how to bring this in other areas of your life? Yes? I'll tell you how you can bring this in other areas of your life. If you bring the same attitude in every single thing you do, wherein it is called karma yoga. It is from the Gita. Krishna talks about it in the Gita. It is called karma yoga. What is karma yoga? Where the action you take, whatever action you take, you are doing that act as an act of devotion. You are doing that thing not because you will get money, you will get a promotion, you will get success, you will get fame, you will get married to a good girl or a good guy. No. You are doing that act because that act gives you joy. Just the action gives you joy. Right now, just the act of sharing this with you is giving me joy. Can you sense it? Can you sense the energy? Yes? If it's yes, you say yes. And you can bring this in every area of your life. The best performers in every field, you look at the best musicians. I was with somebody who works with A.R. Rahman. He says the act of creating music gives A.R. Rahman joy. The best cricketers, the best scientists, the best engineers, the best doctors, the best surgeons, the best statespeople, the best in whatever they do, the best architects, the best managers, the best business people enjoy the act. That act becomes meditative. What work they are doing becomes spiritual. That is what it is. That is karma yoga. And that is the easiest form for you to not only excel at what you're doing, but even attain a higher state. There are different types. But karma yoga is the simplest. So you have bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is when you want to attain happiness, you want to attain bliss through devotion. So, singing of bhajans, visiting the temple, visiting the mosque, visiting the church, whatever form of that is bhakti yoga. Then you have something known as jnana yoga. What is jnana yoga? Yoga of knowledge, right? Ever heard of jnana yoga? Yes? You ever heard? You can raise your hand. Knowledge. The yoga of knowledge, So you want to attain a higher state by knowledge. Then you have Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is through practices like meditation, asana practices. But Karma Yoga is the simplest form. And you can bring this in every area of your life. How many of you have ever experienced bliss by doing something good? How many of you have ever experienced joy by doing something good? Quite a few of you. Quite a few of you. Quite a few of you. And those of you who haven't experienced it, right now, as soon as the session is over, go and do something good. Because the joy you get is so beautiful. When people come and tell me, Yogesh, we attended your session or we read some of your work and it changed our life. We are on the right track. No amount of money, even $1 billion cannot replace that feeling because it is pure joy. And I simply tell them, take this forward. Share it with somebody else because somebody did good with me. And today when I look back, you remember that man I told you about? Remember? That man who saved my life? Today when I look back, I know in the bottom of my heart, even that man had a beautiful experience. Isn't it so? Imagine that man. Put yourself in that man's place. He's walking. He's going to work. He's having a million things in his mind. He's stressed. He might have fought with his wife, with his mother, with his son, with his parents, with his brother, with his friend. He might be thinking, oh, my boss is terrible. Oh, I don't know, a million things might be happening. He might have to pay his bills. But in that moment, when he sees a boy falling down, he forgets everything. He jumps in, saves that boy's life. Now imagine that man. In those moments, maybe a few moments, don't you think he felt extreme joy and happiness? Don't you think so? He would have felt beautiful. He might have gone home. He might have told. Today he might have forgotten. But I can assure you, in that man's life, that would have been a moment that would have stayed. And the more such moments you create in your own life, the more beautiful your life becomes. The more you share, the more you help, and the more good you do, the more beautiful your life will become. I can go on and on and on. I know I want you to do something. You promised in the beginning. I want you right now to make a commitment that you will start doing good. Start volunteering, start doing good. You could join us. There are so many things you could do. But right now, is that a promise you'll make? Yes. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here with all of you. Dhanyavadam. And thank you.